How can you vote for Trump? He's about to make homelessness a crime. You heard that from that lady, that celebrity that was on Hustle and Flow? Yeah. She didn't tell you the rest, though. Nobody did. Nobody that's spreading this news is telling you the rest. Yes, it is true, but guess what? First, Trump is going to build several more rehabs, several more shelters, several maternity shelters for pregnant women, several shelters even just for young teens that are out of the foster care program, several shelters even for families so they can stay together, families that their house burned down or something, or anything, a big change made them all homeless. Usually when that happens, there's not family shelters. They have to go to different places. Trump is about to change America for the better. He is going to build all these places, and he will. He already has a plan for it. He will. Before he makes homelessness a crime, these places are going to be built. He's going to buy cheap pieces of land, put encampments there, fill the encampments with professionals that can address homeless people's needs so they know how to help them, how to get them off the streets, how to get them into a housing program or give them whatever they need, even if it's help getting a job that suits them. Disabled people on the streets, so they can get help. They will get pushed to the top of the list for a housing program so they can get an apartment. I was homeless several times. I've been in Tent City. I've been homeless in several places even. And guess what we would talk about? Committing crimes even, just to go to jail for a little bit. Just so we can eat, shower, and sleep. Most of us were waiting for a bed in a rehab. Most of us were getting turned down because there wasn't enough room in shelters. Most of us, so many, weren't going to shelters because they couldn't go with their significant other. Most of us were waiting for somebody to help or begging for help, and we couldn't get it. This homeless pregnant girl that I just took in, I shared about her. She was here for a week. She was taken from her mother as a kid, adopted out, and as soon as she turned 18, the adoptive parents kicked her out. Now, I didn't ask any questions, I just took her in. But over the few days, I got to know her, and I found out, because I was calling shelters, shelter after shelter after shelter, programs over and over, speaking for her. And I would be like, I would have to ask her, like, have you ever committed a crime? Do you have any charges? Do you have a substance problem? None of those things. She's never done any of those things. And she can't get accepted into a shelter? I've called every shelter in PA, every program. I thought I got her into one, but because she wasn't being beat up by a significant other, she couldn't get in there. I was in one of them shelters. That's what made me call when I left my abuser, and they wouldn't take her. I could not get anywhere to take this girl. She ended up going with some guy because she felt bad staying here, because she realized, like, we're poor. We don't have enough money. We don't have it, like, we can only supply for ourselves. We are used to living paycheck to paycheck on a budget, and she ended up leaving. We spent all week trying to get her into a shelter or find her a program or some kind of help. They don't even have a program for these kids that get kicked out of their adopted family's house when they turn 18. Ain't that some shit? Anyway, that's another thing Trump will create. Programs for those kids. He's going to create so many places for these homeless people. And I'm telling you right now, homeless people are going to love that. They are going to be taken into these encampments, problems addressed, and they will have shelter, and their life is going to be better. They will get a housing program, their life will change dramatically. And that's what homeless people want. And the ones that don't want it, because I have met one that didn't seem to want the help. I'm going to tell you why he didn't. Because he got so tired of trying, so tired of taking up his stay at shelters and being kicked out because he stayed too long. He was so tired of getting kicked out of the psych ward because he wasn't suicidal enough. He didn't need a rehab, so he couldn't go to a rehab because he wasn't an addict. He was mentally a little bit messed up. He was a veteran and he had PTSD and stuff. He didn't trust people. It was terrible. But this, if he's still on the street, I don't know if he is or not. This is what he needs. And I know that that guy is going to be very grateful for this. Trump is doing the right thing. His whole idea for these homeless people, you can listen to these celebrities and Kamala and all them people all you want, but if you were ever homeless or addicted or on the streets long enough anyway, you would be happy about this. This should have been done a long time ago. Trump should have did this the first time around, honestly. This plan to clean up the streets should have been done a long time ago. He's not going to just go arrest all these homeless people. He is going to make sure that they have a place to go. More rehabs, more shelters, even family shelters, maternity shelters. There is going to be a place for every homeless person. If they choose not to go, then they might end up charged and in jail. Not even that. They're not going to be in jail. They're going to decide, wait, they need psychological help. If they're okay with this, they need psychological help. Because it's absolutely true. Being homeless, nobody is okay with it. The people that are okay with it have just given up. They've got used to it, and they're sick and tired of trying. I don't know what to tell you people. But it blows me away that you guys are still on here saying, Trump's gonna make homelessness a crime. Tell the whole story. Don't forget all those other parts of the story, okay? Talk about all the other things he's gonna do first. Because when I heard that from that celebrity who's rich enough that can fix the homeless crisis, she could solve it herself. When I heard that, I was like, wait a minute. And then I heard it. And then I read into the real plan, and I was like, get out. That is exactly what should be done. That is how to do right by the American people. Kamala only cares about the illegals. They need shelter. They need an income. Why? Votes. Only for votes. They're the only people she can help because of votes. She don't care about these homeless people on the streets. If she cared, she would be doing something similar to this, and she isn't. So, wake up, people. Wake up. If I wasn't a Trump supporter already, this plan that he has to clean up the streets would sway me into being a Trump supporter right now.